Garissa early Wednesday. 3 other officers were critically injured in the explosion suspected to have been planted by Shabaab militants. The attack took place a few kilometers from the Kenya-Somalia border. The GSU officers were patrolling the area when their truck ran over the improvised explosive device. A police helicopter was sent to the area to pick up the injured officers and fly the bodies to Nairobi. Regional Coordinator Mahmoud Saleh said more officers had been deployed to the area to pursue the attackers. In other news, it will be another 1 week in the cold remand cells for the 46 persons charged over the National Youth Service scandal after the Anti-Corruption Court handling their cases adjourned the case to the 12th of June, with the pre-trial conference now set for the 20th of this month. And as our political affairs reporter Moremi Mwangi now tells us, High Court Judge Edwin Ongudi has requested for the file by noon tomorrow, after defense lawyers appealed the verdict denying the suspects bail.
Recounting their 9th night on cold police remand cells, 46 suspects implicated in the suspected theft of millions of shillings at the National Youth Service were back in court, perhaps still coming to terms with the reality that they will be under police custody throughout the trial, following Chief Magistrate Douglas Ogoti's Monday verdict, rejecting bail applications for all the suspects. And on Wednesday, Ogoti was forced to adjourn the case to Tuesday next week, after the suspect's lawyers blocked commencement of the pretrial conference, claiming the prosecution was yet to release documents of critical evidence to the trial.
I have not even received charges in respect of these 6 accused persons. Continuing with the pretrial minus the documents that we are seeing will be sanitizing an illegality and a breach of the constitutional right to fair trial.
I will encourage the parties to exchange all documents and other relevant evidence in the meantime. I will deliver my ruling on the 12th of June at 2 p.m.
While denying the suspects bail on Tuesday, Ogoti had termed the corruption charges as being of a serious nature, posing a threat to national security and touching on the country's financial health, and which could lead to anarchy. A finding which the defense lawyers now claim was prejudicial and akin to a premature conviction of the suspects over offences for which they are yet to be tried.
Please assure us that we are not under any pressure, so that at least I can go back to my client with some confidence, because now he looks at me and wonders, better we hear out there you are a tough guy, but wait.
The court has indeed appreciated the arguments by both parties in favor of and against the pretrial. I will give a substantive ruling when the court convenes next.
An attempt by the suspects to overturn Ogoti's denial of bail at the High Court, however, failed to bear any fruit, as the court was yet to hear the application by the time the suspects were bundled into a police van back to the cells. Among the suspects is Principal Secretary Lilian Omolo, who is still recuperating in hospital, and NYS Director General Richard Dubai. Now, with the case set to resume on the 12th of June, the suspects will be counting their 2nd week in remand as the renewed anti-graft war continues on the judicial corridors. Moremi Mwangi, KTN News at the Milimani Law Courts in Nairobi.
At the same time, Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mwangi Kiunjuri says farmers will this week be paid 1 billion Kenya shillings from the emergency kitty for the supply of maize to the National Cereals and Produce Board. Kiunjuri, who appeared before the Senate Committee on Agriculture, said detectives have camped in both the North Rift and South Rift to investigate the maize scandal, where a few traders supplied huge consignments of maize to the NCPB suspected to have been imported from neighboring Uganda and Tanzania. Kiunjuri maintains that the 89 traders who supplied the huge quantities of maize will not be paid the outstanding balances unless and until they are cleared by investigating agencies.
The 2.5 billion, are you planning to raise it so that you pay farmers, or is it subject of an inquiry? And if it is subject of an inquiry, then it brings in the possibilities that there could be fraudulent claims.
We are releasing the 1 billion today or tomorrow. The remaining 2.5 billion will be carried over to the next financial year. That is clear. On whom to be paid will be the remaining farmers. We look at how many we shall be able to pay with the 1 billion, but the remaining farmers, unfortunately, will have to be paid in the next financial year. I can also confirm to you that even the 1 billion we are paying, we are trying to use the emergency fund. The 2.5, there is no amount that will be paid fraudulently. If it happens that you have been an unscrupulous trader, we shall be advised by the relevant legal bodies on how to deal with the issue. I want to assure you that anybody who is being suspected to be a trader and not a farmer will not be paid. But the rest, and we have already isolated 89 of them, yeah, with huge amounts of money. Those ones will not be paid. The question on whether we have Mexican maize.
Let's stay in Parliament, shall we? The controversial upgrading of the Mombasa-Nairobi pipeline, also known as Line 5, is set to be completed by the end of July this year. This is according to the firm's MD, Joe Sang, who appeared before the Senate Committee on Energy earlier today. Sang said the 48.4 billion shillings tender awarded to Lebanese contractor Zakim International was above board. The MD blamed Zakim, the contractor, Nyara Consultancy, for the delay of the project. Kenya Pipeline Corporation further dismissed claims of graft in the company.
The first issue was there was a court case that took close to 6 months to resolve. The second issue was the financing. We borrowed 70% of this project, 70% of 48.4, which is 350 million US, and no single bank in this country will actually mobilize those funds. So we had to go out of our way and now talk to as many banks as we can. And we got a syndication of 6 banks who were then able to put together this facility. The third one, there are also delays on the National Construction Levy, NCA. Those are the 3 that actually took, which will say it was on the fault of the employer, which is Kenya Pipeline. There were the delays also attributed to the contractor, and that's when we were put in part of our counterclaim. Out of the $189.2 million, which is about 19 billion, what the experts were doing, they were basically sieving through the documentation and clearing defense from both sides. And for them to bring down from 19 billion to 4.4, they factored in our counter. What do you think? The employer's counterclaim. And now the last party is the project consultants. Because of the changing of the design, the defects in the design, which had to be altered, also costed the contractor to delay in the project. So those are the 3 parties. The only case that we have, which ESCC are investigating, is a historical case on what we call the hydrant pit valves.
KTN Prime.